to the semi-final review of the CAF Women's Champions League on the Kente Business Journal. My name is Cote. I'm Wakwata, your host for this special series that we are doing. Not wasting much time, let's go right into the conversation. It has been an absolute fun blast of surprises, joy, excitement, emotions. Absolutely fun. I just don't know how to describe the feeling when we witnessed the games in the semi-finals of the CAF Women's Champions League. In the first game, which was played at Cohogo, we saw the fans come out. For the very first time, the fans really came out in Cohogo. Before the tournament started, I was questioning why, Cohogo is being, the place where the fans are going to be held. But on this semi-final game between Asfar and Sundowns, the fans really came out, and I was like, yes, this is what we mean by calling this a Champions League. So that was one of my first things that got me excited about the semi-final in the northern parts of the country, La Cote d'Ivoire. So as usual, before the games begin, the teams do come out in high spirits, trying to boost the morale of themselves, and it was absolutely great looking at how Asfar entered the stadium, as well as Mamelodi Sundowns. South Africa is always going to bless us with their singing. It was an absolute joy to witness all of that. And for this semi-final, it was also a rematch of the 2022 final, which took place in Morocco. There, AS Asfar Rabat won that game by 4-0 over Mamelodi Sundowns, and this time around in Cohogo, it was in a semi-final event. The reason being because Asfar plays second in Group B, while Sundowns were first in Group A, so that was how the matchup came up. A lot of people called it the final before the final, and it did not disappoint. So the game started in the first half. It was a very tight, close matched game, very close. We saw how Asfar came out in the first half, really all guns blazing, trying to get that early goal to settle the nerves of the team. But Andani Dlamini for Mamelodi Sundowns was really strong in post, preventing and making very crucial saves to make sure that there were no scores in order for them to go into the halftime 0-0. When they returned for the second half, that is where we saw Mamelodi Sundowns come out, especially Refiwe Tolakele. We know Refiwe Tolakele has been the top scorer for Mamelodi Sundowns, scoring 3 goals throughout the group stages, and she was determined to make it a fourth. She really led a charge in front to make sure that Sundowns were able to get the needed goal. It was through her efforts that forced the corner kick, which eventually led to Boy Tumelo Rabale's goal. And then Sundowns were able to get that goal in the 72nd minute to ensure they won that game. That game, I have not seen anything like that before. It was one game to remember, and I'm so pleased to have been working on this tournament because I really did enjoy myself watching that game as a neutral. So in the end, Mamelodi Sundowns booked their spot into the finals, becoming the first team to consecutively enter 3 finals since the inception of the CAF Women's Champions League. They have played in every single final. In 2021, they played against Azaka's Ladies, won that game by 4-0. In 2022, they played against Asfar, lost that game by 4-0. And in 2023, they have made it to their 3rd consecutive final, hoping to get their hand on their 2nd title this time around. We see how that is going to go. Asfar will also be playing in the 3rd place playoff. This will be their 2nd 3rd place playoff after they played that in 2021. So we are going to look at how that is also going to pan out, and then we bring you all the updates as we've always done. We are your trusted source when it comes to the CAF Women's Champions League. In the second game later in the day, we saw Ampem Darkoa from Ghana take on SC Casablanca from Morocco. SC Casablanca became the only hope for Morocco to get it into the finals because Asfar had lost. They were looking to get an all-Moroccan final, which did not happen. Mamelodi Sundowns make sure that they stop Asfar. So it was Casablanca's opportunity, or it was Casablanca's responsibility to keep the Moroccan flag flying high. They took on Ampem Darkoa from Ghana. Another very, very close matched game. We saw how the game started. Of course, Ampem Darkoa started strongly in the first half. In the 4th minute, they had a penalty, and guess who? Comfort Yeboah, the right back, came on, stepped up and scored for the Ghanaians to ensure that they had the lead to ease the tension. Now, after getting that goal, Ampem Darkoa did not calm down. They were pushing strongly for the second goal, but unfortunately, Comfort Yeboah implicated herself and scored an own goal to level matters for SC Casablanca. Absolute dramatic, you know, coming from hero to zero, just so much drama. It was just a lot, you know, emotions were just running high. But before the half ended, we saw that brilliant strike from Jennifer Owusuwa out of 30 yards, put that ball all the way into the post to make sure that Ampem Darkoa regained their lead 2-1 over SC Casablanca. Talk about semi-final drama. That was all that was happening in San Pedro when these two teams met. Returning from the halftime, Ampem Darkoa did not stop pushing for the solitary lead that they were having, and they wanted to kill the game by getting a third goal. But unfortunately, SC Casablanca were awarded a penalty, and Aguesa Diarra stood up and scored for her team to level matters. This ensured that the game ended by 2-2 and went into the extra time. But in the extra time, we saw how these girls persisted. We saw their determination, we saw their strength, we saw their agility and focus, and they assured that none of them made any mistakes to give away the game. So we held on and went into the penalty shootout, but unfortunately for Ampem Darkoa, the game ended by 3-2 in favor of SC Casablanca, who then made it into the finals for the first time in their history, at least giving Morocco a second straight final in the CAF Women's Champions League, that is SC Casablanca. So that is how the game ended, 2-2 with 3-2 penalty win for SC Casablanca. So in the near future, we are looking forward to the third place playoff, which is happening on the 18th of November on Saturday in San Pedro Laurent Poku Stadium. We will see Asfar Rabat from Morocco taking on Ampem Darkoa from Ghana. And that is going to be a repeat of the Group B opener, where Ampem Darkoa then triumphed by 2-1. Maybe it's going to be another revenge game. We don't know how that's going to turn out, but it has been an absolute blast, this Women's Champions League. So you have no expectations at all. Just enjoy the game as and when it comes your way. And on the 19th of November, the grand finale going to be happening in the Amadou Gon Coulibaly Stadium in Cohogo. We're going to see Mamelodi Sundowns take on SC Casablanca. This is going to be the third straight final for the South African team, as they are the only team to have played in all the finals of the CAF Women's Champions League so far. In the 2021 edition, they played against Hazaka's Ladies from Ghana and won that game by 4-0. And in 2022, they played against Asfar Rabat from Morocco and lost that game by 4-0. So is it going to be another goal feast in Cohogo? Let's wait and see as the time will tell. We are hoping for a fun final and a third place playoff in this ending stages of the CAF Women's Champions League. Now, before I go, I would love to give a few shout outs to a few of the players who have really caught my eye. And when we're talking about nominees for the player of the tournament, I have people like Rufiwe Tolakele, who's South Africa's top scorer. She has scored 3 goals in the 4 games that she has played so far. I also want to mention about Comfort Yeboah of Ampem Darkoa. She has really been outstanding and also be one of my nominees for the player of the tournament. Also going to talk about Ngwason Nadege Kofi for SC Casablanca, the captain. She has really been outstanding all throughout this tournament, and I'm hoping that other players who have also played well in this tournament are going to catch the eye of the organizers, and the rightful awards will be given out to these rightful players or these deserved players who have really been outstanding throughout this year's tournament. So that is how we draw the curtains on today's edition of the review of the CAF Women's Champions League on the Kente Business Journal. My name is Cote. I'm Wakwata. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'll come your way after the next match day, probably after the final, and we will have fun discussing the entire tournament from start to finish. Stick and stay with the Kente Business Journal. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and also share to your friends, colleagues and family, so we can all build this channel together and grow together as one family. Thank you so much. It's bye for now.